The Biography of Michelangelo. Michelangelo Buonarroti, a monumental figure in the history of art, is universally known for his exceptional mastery as a sculptor, painter, architect, and poet of the Renaissance. Born in Italy in 1475, his transcendental works, such as the statue of David and the painting of the Sistine Chapel ceiling, have left an indelible mark on the world of art. His talent, innovation, and dedication have cemented his reputation as one of the most influential artists of all time, marking a before and after in the history of art. Childhood and education. Origin. Michelangelo Buonarroti was born on March 6, 1475, in Caprese, a small town in Tuscany, Italy. The son of Lodovico di Leonardo Buonarroti Simoni and Francesca di Neri del Miniato di Siena, his family was of noble ancestry, though not particularly wealthy. His father, Lodovico, was a magistrate, which implied a certain social status but with economic limitations. The family returned to Florence shortly after Michelangelo's birth, where he spent most of his childhood. At a young age, Michelangelo showed little interest in formal education but a notable inclination towards art. His family, especially his father, initially disapproved of this interest, as art was not considered a suitable profession for someone of his social status. However, his mother died when he was 6 years old, an event that deeply affected Michelangelo and possibly intensified his connection to art as a form of expression and solace. Early education. Michelangelo's passion for art became evident when he began to copy the paintings he saw in churches and to study fragments of ancient sculpture. At the age of 13, his father agreed to send him as an apprentice to the famous workshop of Domenico Ghirlandaio, one of the most prominent artists in Florence at the time. This period was crucial for Michelangelo's development as an artist. Here, he learned fresco techniques and soaked up the styles and themes prevalent in Florentine Renaissance art. However, his stay in Ghirlandaio's workshop lasted only a year. His exceptional talent caught the attention of Lorenzo de' Medici, the de facto ruler of the Florentine Republic and a great patron of the arts. Michelangelo was invited to join the art school that Lorenzo had established in his palace, where he had the opportunity to study classical sculptures and be influenced by prominent poets, philosophers, and artists of the time. This experience perfected his skill in sculpture and broadened his cultural and philosophical education, elements that would play a significant role in his later art. In Lorenzo de' Medici's Garden of San Marco, Michelangelo had access to a collection of ancient Roman sculptures that deepened his fascination with classical art. Here, he sculpted two of his earliest known works, Madonna of the Stairs and the Battle of the Centaurs. These early works already showed an exceptional understanding of human anatomy and mastery of capturing emotion through stone. The time in the Medici court was a crucial formative period for Michelangelo. However, Lorenzo's death in 1492 marked the end of this stage. Political instability in Florence, along with the death of his protector, pushed Michelangelo to seek new patrons and opportunities, marking the beginning of his remarkable artistic trajectory. Career and achievements. Early career. Following the death of Lorenzo de' Medici, Michelangelo found a changing political climate in Florence. Over the coming years, he traveled through Italy, spending time in places like Venice and Bologna, and finally arrived in Rome in 1496, at the age of 21. His arrival in Rome marked the true beginning of his career as an independent artist. Here he sculpted the Bacchus and Sleeping Cupid, works that attracted the attention of Cardinal Raphael Riario, an influential patron of the arts. Michelangelo's first major commission in Rome was the Pietà, completed in 1499. The extraordinary beauty and technical skill demonstrated in this sculpture earned him immediate recognition, consolidating his reputation as an exceptionally talented sculptor. The Pietà remains revered today as one of the most perfect sculptures ever made. Career development. In 1501, Michelangelo returned to Florence, where he was commissioned to sculpt what would become one of his most famous works, the statue of David. Completed in 1504, This gigantic marble sculpture standing 5.17 meters tall is a milestone in the representation of the human form, establishing Michelangelo as an undisputed master of Renaissance sculpture. Michelangelo's next major project was in Rome, where Pope Julius II commissioned him to paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling in 1508. Despite considering himself primarily a sculptor, Michelangelo accepted the challenge. What followed was a grueling 4-year endeavor that resulted in one of the greatest achievements in the history of art. The series of frescoes, which includes the iconic creation of Adam, revolutionized the art of painting and remains a masterpiece of Western art. Throughout his life, Michelangelo continued working on various projects, including the tomb of Julius II and the facade of the Basilica of San Lorenzo in Florence. Although many of these projects remained incomplete or were substantially modified, his work continued to display an unprecedented combination of technical skill and emotional expressiveness. Main achievements. Besides his famous sculptures and paintings, Michelangelo also made significant contributions as an architect. In 1546, he was appointed architect of St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican, where he introduced major changes to the original design, including the modification of the dome, which became a model for future church domes around the Western world. Michelangelo was also a talented poet, though he was less known for this aspect of his art. His poetry includes sonnets and madrigals, which often reflect the same emotional and aesthetic concerns present in his visual works. Michelangelo's legacy was bolstered by his longevity. His career spanned over 70 years, during which he influenced numerous artists and helped shape the course of Renaissance art. His works have been studied, replicated, and admired by generations, making him one of the most celebrated artists in the history of art. Impact and legacy. Specific contributions. Michelangelo Buonarroti, through his work, profoundly impacted not only the art of his time but also future generations of artists and the public. His approach to the human body in sculpture set a new standard for realism and idealism, with a level of detail and expressiveness few have managed to match. Michelangelo's innovative techniques and dramatic style in painting, especially evident in his Sistine Chapel frescoes, revolutionized the perspective of composition and color in Renaissance art. In architecture, his designs for St. Peter's Basilica significantly influenced the development of the Baroque style. Legacy. The legacy of Michelangelo extends beyond his artistic achievements. He became a symbol of the Renaissance genius, representing the relentless pursuit of human excellence in both creativity and knowledge. His life and work have been the subject of countless studies, inspiring artists, writers, historians, and philosophers. Michelangelo also played a fundamental role in elevating the social status of the artist. In a time when artists were often seen merely as craftsmen, his relationships with powerful patrons such as the Medici and the popes, and his insistence on personal artistic expression, contributed to changing this perception. Interest in his work has not diminished over time. His works continue to attract millions of visitors to Italy each year. The Sistine Chapel, in particular, is one of the most visited tourist and religious sites in the world. Moreover, the study of his life and work has been crucial for understanding the history of art and the evolution of artistic techniques. Michelangelo's legacy also persists through his influence on contemporary art. His focus on human anatomy, his treatment of movement and emotion, and his ability to infuse life into stone and canvas remain relevant and inspiring for today's artists. Personal life. Interests and hobbies. Despite his intense dedication to art, Michelangelo had diverse interests. He was known for his profound love for poetry, not only as a creator but also as an enthusiast. His book collection was extensive for his time, indicating an interest in literature and philosophy, in addition to his passion for anatomy and engineering. These disciplines enriched his knowledge and influenced his artistic work. Family and relationships. Michelangelo maintained complex relationships with his family and social circle. Though he regularly sent money to his father and brothers, he remained largely distant from them. Preserved letters suggest a relationship that is often tense, marked by financial disputes and disagreements. Regarding more intimate personal relationships, there are no records of Michelangelo having married or had children. His private life has been the subject of much analysis and interpretation, especially through his correspondence and poetry, where he expressed his deepest feelings and thoughts. A prominent figure in his life was Tommaso dei Cavalieri, a young Roman noble to whom Michelangelo dedicated a significant amount of passionate poetry, leading many scholars to speculate about the nature of their relationship. Challenges and overcomings. Michelangelo's life was not without challenges. In addition to familial tensions and the demands of his patrons, he faced several physical and emotional challenges, especially in his later years. He typically worked under immense pressure, both self-imposed and external, affecting his health and well-being. Michelangelo also lived in a time of considerable political and religious turmoil. The Protestant Reformation and political changes in Florence and Rome impacted his life and work. Despite these challenges, he continued to work tirelessly, maintaining an unwavering commitment to his art until the end of his days. Michelangelo's figure stands out not only for his artistic achievements, but also for his ability to overcome personal and professional adversities, maintaining an art production of exceptional quality and relevance throughout his life. Closing. Final years and death. The last years of Michelangelo's life were marked by incessant artistic activity, despite the challenges of advanced age and declining health. He continued working on several major projects, including the completion of St. Peter's Basilica. In his final years, he devoted himself more intensely to architecture and his poetic writings. Michelangelo died in Rome on February 18, 1564, at the age of 88. The cause of his death is believed to have been a fever. His body was transferred to Florence, where he was buried in the Basilica of Santa Croce, a place he had chosen himself, marking his eternal connection to his hometown. Final reflection. The life of Michelangelo Buonarroti was extraordinary, not only for the magnitude of his talent, but also for his ability to influence and change the course of art. His work encapsulates the spirit of the Renaissance, a union of art, science, and humanism, driven by an insatiable desire to push the limits of the possible. Michelangelo was not just an artist, he was an innovator who challenged conventions and raised the standard of what art could and should be. His ability to capture beauty, emotion, and humanity in stone and on canvas left an indelible mark on the world. Beyond his individual achievements, Michelangelo's life is a reminder of the importance of relentlessly pursuing our passion and striving for excellence in everything we do. His legacy endures not only in his masterpieces but also in the inspiration he continues to provide to artists, dreamers, and visionaries around the world. Michelangelo's story is one of the triumphs of the human spirit, a source of inspiration that transcends time and space, resonating in the heart of contemporary culture and art.